Mm. Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here for my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business here this morning. And thank you for joining this morning's edition of Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, because you literally cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys because things happen late in the evening, late at night, first thing in the morning. So you want to be up to speed with all that is America's team. And guys, we're 5 days, 8 hours, 22 minutes, and 35 seconds away from kickoff against the Carolina Panthers. And guys, I'm excited. I literally can bust. Just think, the day after tomorrow, we can kick back and watch the Atlanta Falcons take on the Super Bowl defending champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, God, it just hurts even saying that. So we're going to start focusing in on our opponent. Wow. We've been talking about the Dallas Cowboys since the end of the season. It's nice to actually talk about an opponent coming up. Now, before we get to that, we, of course, starting a new year, we're missing Travis Frederick. That hurts. But most teams are beat up as well. But I will say this much. The good thing, at least, is that Travis Frederick ended up going out early in much the same way as Tony Romo. Don't get it twisted. Romo fans, don't start with this. But here's the reality. The fact that Kellen Moore broke his ankle early in training camp, moved Dak Prescott up to second string, and because Tony Romo always had his veteran day off every week and didn't play much in preseason, it gave Dak Prescott three preseason games to really get himself together. That was valuable time learning the system. If it had been Tony Romo got hurt in the first game and then Kellen Moore got hurt in the second game, we've been screwed because Dak wouldn't have gotten all those reps that he did in training camp. And that's going to be the case with Joe Looney. Joe Looney has had a lot of time as the center right now, getting valuable minutes, which should help him as the season goes on. The fact that you get Zach Martin back, we know that Connor Williams is still trying to set his mark. He's still a rookie and things. He's still learning. But every team is dealing with this because when we start looking at the Carolina Panthers, I understand they just put Matt Khalil on injured reserve, just had his knee scoped. And their other tackle, their right tackle, Darrell Williams, he's on injured reserve as well. They've gone through and they've made a trade with the Detroit Lions for a guy who hasn't been able to stay healthy. They're desperate. They're hurting on their offensive line. But make no mistake, one, you're playing on the road where the Dallas Cowboys actually have a better record, which is still blows me away than at home. But Carolina has one hell of a defense. Their front seven, led by Luke Kuechly, is unbelievable. That's going to be a battle in the trenches to watch. More of their problem has been their offense because it's always been Cam, oh, Cam. And if Cam doesn't get you there between his legs or his arm, and Cam is incredible with the deep ball, then that offense usually doesn't do it. But now they have Norv Turner as an offensive coordinator. Norv Turner, you can say a lot of things about as a head coach, but some guys are just great coordinators. Of course, he had the triplets. That makes it a little easier to coach, but when you saw him in Washington, didn't do too well there. But as an offensive coordinator, Minnesota last year, he didn't exactly have a lot to work with and still did really, really well with them. But what Carolina has done, because usually, wide receiver wise, Steve Smith was the last really good wide receiver that they had. They've gone out. They got Torrey Smith, which is a lot of speed. They drafted DJ Moore, more speed. And they've got Christian McCaffrey as a running back. Now, what's interesting is in the preseason, we're talking about practice games, not real games, but in the preseason, even with that offensive line hurting, he's been averaging 7.2 yards a carry. Pretty damn good. Now, again, Preseason, you kind of have to take with a grain of salt because it's preseason. The question is, how many teams played their starters? How many people game planned? And so on. So, don't get too excited about what you saw in preseason and don't get too depressed. But understand that they have some weapons now for Cam Newton, maybe the best weapons he's had in his career. But you're going to be able to put pressure on Cam, and that's going to be the point of attack for the Cowboys. Our offense, which typically our offensive line is the strength, of course, is hurt because of Travis Frederick going against that Carolina defense, which is strong. Make no mistake, that defense is tough, one of the better defenses in the NFL. But I think with that offensive line of Carolina that's being hurt, that's where you have to exploit. And our defensive linemen should be licking their chops that both of those tackles are gone. We'll have to wait and see how the Dallas Cowboys attack them. And one other side note. A lot of people are talking about Rico Gathers, that can't believe we signed him, kept him on the roster and things. And that we're keeping 4 tight ends. Well, understand this, too. You do a lot of 2 tight end sets. And I don't think the Cowboys are really sold on who is the better tight end just yet. I don't think they believe there is a lot of separation between them. In fact, I look at it and say that I believe that Rico brings you something different than Dalton Schultz will. Dalton Schultz can catch the ball too, but not as well as Rico can. Dalton Schultz can probably block a little bit better than Rico, although I don't think I've seen Rico doing any Chaz Green blocks. So it's going to be interesting to see because we really have not seen all of this offense together. We've seen all kinds of different sets. We've seen different motions. We've seen players in different positions, from Cole Beasley being in the slot to being outside. We've seen Michael Gallup being outside. We don't know where anybody truly is going to line up, and we don't really know what kind of offense we're going to come out with, which is actually a great thing. And I'm looking forward to Sunday seeing exactly what they're going to do. So, guys, as always, I've got to get to my day job that they tell me don't quit. And I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being here and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. The NFL season is upon us. And every day we'll be talking about, what else? Our Dallas Cowboys. I'm Mark Holmes with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and you are up to date on our Dallas Cowboys as they prepare to take on the Carolina Panthers. I'll see you guys soon.